tax prep firms recklessly shared your data with Google and Meta. China once again accused of hacking U.S. government emails. The Federal Trade Commission opens investigation into ChatGPT creator OpenAI. And Telly starts shipping free ad-supported 4K TVs and will charge up to $1,000 if the users of those violates the terms of service. This is Geek News Central. I want to welcome you to the new media. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran. Boy, I blew that, didn't I? Welcome. And I want to welcome you to episode 1680 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, July 13th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Of course, you can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, we're lit and live, of course, with the apps from podcastapps.com. Join the value for value revolution. What I was thinking about as I was starting the show is my headset volume is way down. And I was thinking, can I reach back here and turn it up? No, but I'm going to do it right now. So for whatever reason, that just had me completely flustered. But hey, I want to give a warm welcome to new listeners. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content on the website. Make sure you get subscribed to our show. You can follow the show right on the right-hand column. You can sign up for the newsletter again. And, of course, you can check out all of our partner shows as well. And you can join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server. Feel free to do that. Or our Discord server. Our Discord server is available right within the show notes as well. And you can contact me simply via email, geeknews@gmail.com, or at geeknews on Twitter. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook. This show is sponsored, maybe not after tonight's startup. This show is sponsored by the longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy. You can save large by going over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Lock in your savings. Start saving today, whether you're going to get that new domain name for a penny. Yes, a penny for a brand new domain name, or $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. You can also get a free trial of GoDaddy website builder, your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. Again, you can find those savings to begin at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and your support keeps this podcast online in the independent writing team I employed. And again, you're supporting a small team, a very, very small team of independent content creators by using one of my promo codes. And your support, in fact, will allow us to keep the lights on, the electricity paid, the gas bill, the rent, the insurance, everything that in the website upkeep, everything that is required to do this show and the way we do it, and make sure that basically bring you a quality show. Which, tonight I think maybe that the beginning of this is debatable, but anyway, hey everybody, welcome, and again, thanks for GoDaddy being a long-time sponsor here of the podcast. So it's been busy here, and I've had a very, very full week. I got fascinated with something I found this afternoon. And matter of fact, I was turned on by a conference I may attend in 2 weeks. I don't know. I got to get my board approval to pay for it and everything, but there's an event in Cincinnati, an AI event that I am kind of jonesing to go to. But they were talking about some new features and some new tools, and I found one tool. Tonight, I want you to watch the show notes because I think I can dramatically increase the effectiveness of the show notes tonight using this tool. A time will tell. There are some things that we are doing that we have implemented here for the show itself that you may not know about yet. And it's because maybe you're not using an app that supports it. We've implemented chapters. So when you are on a app from podcastapps.com that supports chapters, you now can look through the chapters and you can jump to the content that you want to specifically listen to in the show. Now, we want you to be able to listen to the whole show, but the chapters will come up in the app as we hit the particular milestones of the article. So, but typically it takes Kirk 24 to 36 hours after the show's out to get all the chapter markers backlogged. So if you listen to the show a couple days later, you'll see it when it's initially released. If you listen within 12 hours, you probably won't see the chapter markers. And what I'm really doing is I'm starting to look for some volunteers to help with some of the production stuff of the show. And it's not necessarily stuff Kirk does, but this is just extra stuff that I could use a few extra hands with. And if it's something you think you could be involved with the show, and you have to commit to being able to do a few things the following day after the show, let me know. And we'll get you tied into the ecosystem here. But again, I'm on the hunt for a new theme for Geek News Central podcast. I've had a few discussions with Sam, but it's really what I'm really looking for is the theme I have right now, the one that when you visit the website is getting a little bit long in the tooth, and we have to make some server changes soon. We got to go do some PHP upgrades, so it's about that time, and going to do it all in one full swoop. So if you're out searching around on the internet and you see a website and you think the theme is cool, definitely ping me and say, "Hey Todd, I like this theme." So let's back up here for a second. Again, thank you everybody for all your support and your ongoing devotion to the show. What do you think? I changed the startup where I gave you a start of the show where I screwed up tonight, but I'm giving you now the top topics, not all inclusive, all the topics we're going to talk about, but the top topics for the show right at the beginning. Is that hitting you or not? I hope so. If it isn't, well, let me know. You guys have all been pretty silent. Numbers are way up. So we've got a whole new family of people here listening to the podcast. And silence seems to be, what you guys like to do. Geeknews at gmail.com is the email address to send your commentary to. Or you can reach out to me on Twitter at Geek News or on Mastodon at geeknews.chat. That's where I'm at on Mastodon. Follow me over there if you've got a Mastodon account somewhere. But let's go ahead and get into the stack. Now, this one here, it blew me away. Tax prep firms recklessly shared your data with Google and Meta. Incredibly as it may seem, U.S. tax preparation companies using Google and Meta's tracking technology and have been sending sensitive information back to the megacorps, not to mention other tech firms, it is claimed. 7 U.S. lawmakers on Wednesday released a 54-page report detailing the outrageous, extensive, and potentially illegal sharing of taxpayers' sensitive personal and financial information with Meta by online tax preparation companies. The report is titled Attacks on Tax Privacy: How the Tax Prep Industry Enabled Meta to Harvest Millions of Taxpayers' Sensitive Data. Comes after a 7-month investigation. It finds that Tax Act, Tax Slayer, and of all companies, H&R Block shared sensitive personal and financial taxpayer data through the use of Meta, Pixel, and Google ad tools. Relevant enforcement entities, including the IRS, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Department of Justice, are being asked to investigate this matter and prosecute any company or individual who violated the law. According to the letter, the tax prep firms may have broken the law. One firm, TaxAct, is said to have shared via Metapixel not just taxpayer filing status, adjusted gross income, and names of dependents, but also details like federal tax owed, buttons clicked, and text entry forms. Also tremendous were hash values computed from shared full names, email, country, state, zip code, phone numbers, and the person's gender. Meta also confirmed that it used the data. Listen to this. Meta also confirmed it used the data to target ads to taxpayers, including for companies other than the tax prep companies themselves, and to train Meta's own AI algorithms. Both companies offer pixel and for pixel tracking and analytics. Google Analytics and Meta Pixel, which was known as Facebook Pixel until the company rebranded itself. This has been going on, according to this report, for as long as the web has existed. I'm just blown away. I continue to say Google and these companies know more about you than they should. Now, I understand if you're going to go on H&R Block and fill out your taxes, that data's in their system. But their systems should still be encrypting that information and not transmitting any of that data to any third parties. Last year, I had my taxes and my youngest son taxes done by the company that does my CPA, that does my taxes, and we don't do any online filing. My two other kids, I don't know. They can probably file a 1040 EZ if that still exists, and probably just went online and did it with some company. This is pretty shocking. And if your income is being reported, think about that for a second. So, the review also found whether taxpayers had visited pages for many revealing tax situations, such as having dependents, certain types of income, such as rental income or capital gains, and certain tax credits or deductions. In addition, it transmitted all this information: name, email, country, city, state, zip code. Why is this being allowed? The report cites laws that say a tax return preparer may not disclose or use a taxpayer tax return information prior to obtaining a written consent from the taxpayer, while mentioning that the tax prep companies failed to do that. Although tax filing companies can legally hand data to auxiliary service providers in connection with the preparation of a tax return, the panel said Meta and Google don't meet the definition since the tracking was used for advertising. I'm just, what next? What next, ladies and gentlemen? What next? What else is going to be reviewed? Do I want to? I'm sure Amazon probably has a pretty good idea how much money I make based on the money I spend on Amazon. They probably have some formula. But Google has got too much power. Facebook has too much power. They know too much about us. How are we going to stop this? I don't know if we ever will. We might as well just put a big sign out in front of our yard, has our tax return, has anything about our privacy, anything about sexual preference, all that, just put it on a big sign outside your house. Might as well, right? Everyone else knows, or these firms know. Meanwhile, China is accused of hacking U.S. government emails. What else is new? Microsoft has provided the Department of Commerce information that Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo was among the individuals impacted by the breach. Microsoft notified the department of a compromise to Microsoft Office 365 system. U.S. media reported the State Department also had been targeted by hackers. China's embassy in London told Reuters news agency that the accusation was disinformation. Of course, that's what they're always going to say. But Microsoft said China-based hacking group, which it refers to as Storm 0558, had accessed email accounts by forging digital authentication tokens required by the system. Storm 0558 primarily targets government agencies in Western Europe and focuses on espionage, data theft, and credential access. The company said its investigations found the breaches began in the middle of May, and it is now mitigated the attack and have contacted impacted customers. So again, here we go again. This is just ongoing stuff. Meanwhile, FTC has opened an investigation to ChatGPT creator OpenAI. The agency wants to know if the AI company is violating consumer protection laws. The commission's particular information linked to a bug where it leaked ChatGPT users' sensitive data, including payments, chat histories. While OpenAI said the number of affected users was very small, the FTC is worried this stems from poor security practices. The agency also wants the details of any complaints alleging that the AI made false or malicious statements about individuals and info showing how to tell users how to understand the accuracy of the product they're using. AI-specific laws and rules aren't expected in the near future. Even so, the government has stepped up pressure on the tech industry. OpenAI chief Sam Altman testified before the Senate, where he defended his company by outlining privacy and safety measures while touting AI's claimed benefits. He said protections were in place, but OpenAI would be increasingly cautious and continue to upgrade its safeguards. It's not clear if the FTC will pursue other generative AI developers like Google and Anthropic. The amount of money being invested, I heard about a $1.7 billion investment into a $1.7 billion in, think about that, ladies and gentlemen, into a company I've never heard of before. It's crazy. Telly, we talked about them before, start shipping free ad-supported 4K TVs and will charge users up to $1,000 if they violate the terms of service. So what you get is you get a 4K TV, underneath it's a speaker, and underneath that is another television that plays ads. So the ads are running continuously. You got to provide detailed information about you and your life and your preferences. 250,000 people have signed up for free TV. I'd be really, really curious who's getting a free television from Telly. And they have to keep them connected to the internet 24/7. And they have to be, I don't know how they're going to monitor. You put a drape over that bottom TV, I guess. But this is an ongoing thing that they're doing. So Telly's in business, getting ready to send those ad-supported TVs. Would you have one of those in your house? Ex-Twitter employees owed $500 million in severance, says a lawsuit. Apparently, there's only 1,300 people left from the 7,500 that was originally employed by Twitter. Former Twitter employee Courtney McMillan has filed a complaint claiming the company owes $500 million in severance pay to thousands of people who are chopped from its once 7,500-strong workforce. The lawsuit also claims that only a touch over 1,000 people are left working. And the legal filing claims upon information and belief Twitter has terminated approximately 6,000 employees. And the complaint proposed class action that was filed in California District Court alleges that not only did Twitter 2.0 unlawfully deny severance benefits, but that Musk himself confirmed that severance benefits would be no less favorable for workers than pre-merger benefits for a year after the deal closed, with the idea that this would prevent skeptical staffers from resigning en masse. The suit states, given the widespread skepticism of Musk's ability to operate Twitter successfully and the tightening of the tech labor market overall at the time, The parties to the merger agreement, Mr. Musk and the incoming leadership, as well as Twitter's outgoing management, knew that promising continued planned benefits was necessary to prevent mass resignations that would threaten the viability of the merger deal and potential of the company itself. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where this leads. Meanwhile, Musk X Corp has sued data scrapers, severely taxing Twitter servers. X Corp lawsuit says unidentified scrappers forced Twitter to impose rate limits. The volume of those requests far exceeded what any single individual could send to a server in a given period, and clearly indicated these automated requests were aimed at scraping data from Twitter. These requests have severely taxed X Corp services and impaired the user experience for millions of X Corp customers, the lawsuit alleged. The lawsuit seeks damage of at least $1 billion, was filed last week in Dallas County District Court. Defendants are 4 John Does. Twitter hopes to learn their true identities during discovery. The lawsuit was filed days after Twitter imposed rate limits. Several entities tried to scrape every tweet ever made in a short period of time. That is why I had to put rate limits in place. X Corp may be planning to sue other data scrapers in different geographical areas. The lawsuit said Twitter has identified more IP addresses as data scrapers, but suing these 4 in Dallas because they were contracting with entities that maintain data processing facilities in Dallas County. So we will see where they go with that one. Lawsuits flying everywhere. Meanwhile, Congress is trying to stop discriminatory algorithms again. Senator Edward Markey and Representative Doris Matsu reintroduced the bill to block discriminatory algorithms. So it's called the Algorithmic Justice and Online Platform Transparency Act, which aims to ban the use of discriminatory or harmful automated decision-making. It would also establish safety standards for platforms to provide a plain language explanation of the algorithm used by websites, publish annual reports on content moderation practices, and create a government task force to investigate discriminatory algorithmic process. This bill was introduced in 2021, but it never made it out of committee. So we'll see. Calls to reveal algorithms have been coming around for a long time, and nothing has ever been forwarded or made into a law. Switching topics here, 7 safety tips for protecting your data in a co-working space. So if you're working in a co-working space, you definitely got to be using some caution. Obviously use data encryption, invest in antivirus software. That's big because you're going to be connected to a network. Do not connect automatically to open networks. Make sure you're on the right network. Use virtual private networks, of course. Don't need hard copies that are not needed. Shred those. And, of course, keep software up to date. And use strong passwords and 2-factor authentication. And always, always, always lock up your space. Take your computer home. Don't leave it sitting there where someone can get to it. Virgin Galactic's first private passenger space flight will launch as soon as August 10th. The inaugural commercial flight flew in late June. However, all 3 passengers were Italian government workers conducting microgravity studies. While it's not clear what O2 civilian crew will do, they can be tourists this time around. So the firm has been ramping up its operation in recent months. While Galactic O2 is just Virgin's 7th spaceflight of any kind, it's a 3rd in 2023. The company says it's establishing a regular cadence of flights. The improved frequency is important for the company's finance. Virgin has operated at a loss for years and lost over $500 million in 2022. The business won't recoup those losses anytime soon because the tickets are $450,000. So, you're not going to recoup $500 million at $450,000 a seat. That is for sure. If you are a developer, a new Play Store policy is going to publish developers' phone numbers in the app listing. They're saying, Google saying, we're renaming contact details section on your phone app store listing to app support and adding a new about the developer section to help users learn more about you. This may show verified identity information like names, addresses, and contact details. Google is supposedly doing this in an attempt to build user trust, but people are not very happy about it. And so make sure you probably have a, don't put your cell phone number on there. You get yourself a Google phone number or something, okay? In a not surprising development, Celsius founder Alex Mashinsky has been arrested and charged with fraud. This follows a New York-based lawsuit in his company going bankrupt. So he's been arrested and charged by federal authorities with fraud. He faces several criminal counts, including securities, commodities, and wire fraud. He and his companies are being independently sued by 3 government agencies, the FTC, the CFTC, and the SEC. The U.S. Attorney's Office alleges that Mashinsky misled customers regarding the nature of his companies, making it seem like a bank when it's actually a high-risk investment fund. Celsius former Chief Revenue Officer Ronnie Cohen-Pavan was also arrested, with both Pavan and Mashinsky being charged with manipulating the price of the company's proprietary crypto token so they could sell their own stock at inflated prices. Additionally, the FTC reached a $4.7 billion settlement today with Celsius, which nearly matches the record fines levied against Meta for violating the privacy of consumer. The company has agreed to these financial terms, but only make payments once it returns what it remains in customers' assets as part of an ongoing bankruptcy proceedings. So these crypto folks that misled people, they're going down, 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 down for the count. Hey, I do want to share with you that we had some boosts come in for the show. And Scott, I don't know if I can actually say this boost, and I don't know if it's proper for the show, but thanks for the 8,008 sats. I think we know what kind of 8008 is basically commonly referred to as a boobs donation. So thank you for that. So thank you for that boost that came in. And I know some of you are live streaming the show tonight, so I definitely appreciate your ongoing support. Dave Jones is streaming. Adam Curry's streaming. Who else is streaming? So a number of folks are live streaming the show tonight and sending boosts by the minute. We definitely appreciate those boosts coming in. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And so anyway, thank you so much for that ongoing support. All right, let's move on here. Bob Iger says Disney TV and cable business may not be core and leaves the door open to a sale of assets like ABC or cable network FX. He says those businesses are essentially losing money. The business model underpinning those businesses is definitely broken. Wow. Is this marking the end of broadcast TV or cable? Think about that. Disney wants to get rid of this in lieu of probably the streaming stuff. I'm not surprised. NASA has released the deepest 3D fly-through of the universe from the present day all the way to less than 400 million years after the Big Bang. We're seeing how the universe grew up like never before. And it's a little bit weird, this video, but it's a 3D fly-through, so you need 3D glasses to see it. So I'll have the link up in the show notes for you to check it out. But basically, because of the Hubble and now the JWST, they can see what the universe is like from both near and far, with the newest visualization based on what's called CEERS data, CEERS, taken from the JWST. We can now fly the universe all the way back to when it was just 3% of its current age. And again, it's an interesting, and they produce all kinds of stuff here, but link will be up in the show notes. You can investigate yourself. Blackouts have been hitting Earth as an 8M class solar flare erupts in 8, the number 8 M class solar flares have erupted in 24 hours, says NASA. And the solar storm threat rises as we rotate. This solar spot is going to become more of a direct line of sight on Earth. So it could get much, much worse. And to be on the lookout. So anyway, getting to back where the sun is very, very active. So if you're ham or you notice your lights dim or something, don't be surprised. According to LifeScience.com, the man in the moon, and I haven't heard about anybody talk about the man in the moon in a long time, may be hundreds of millions of years older than we thought. Much of the moon's surface is 200 million years older than previously estimated, a new analysis said. Now, how old did they think the man in the moon was before? Well, they thought it was 3.9 billion years old, and now they think it's 4.1 billion years. Now, what is that really? It's the one area that they said is older. But so anyway, they've got all kinds of cool science, lots of stuff they're looking at, analyzing the surface, and so it's a good write up. Definitely check it out. So these articles keep popping up about AI, and this is something that is, I believe, to be absolutely unequivocally true. If you're happy coasting at your job, you might be in trouble. In other words, if you're just kind of, if you're, you've a 40-hour week and you're putting in about 25, and you're just kind of, going with the flow because you're remote working or whatever it may be. And if you're, if you're potentially quiet quitting, be forewarned. Because AI technologies are going to be entering the workplace. And if you've got used to this coasting at your job, you might be in for a rude awakening. April, a 30-year-old marketing and communication professional based in Virginia, she's among the many women who have posted about what they call their lazy girl jobs. Low-stress jobs that still pay well. On TikTok over the last few months, she told Insider she works 20 to 25 hours per week. She says, I mainly copy and paste information from my templates and make it unique to a particular client or brand I'm working with. The job tests usually require little effort. In recent months, however, April said generative AI technologies are beginning to have a larger impact, and she's concerned individuals and businesses will begin turning to AI for copywriting and brand storytelling. Of course, tasks where she'd like to think her human touch still adds value. The way that I've been approaching tasks recently has changed tremendously with the emergence of AI becoming widespread. I've been constantly sharpening my skills to stay ahead of the curve. In years to come, it's unlikely that April will be the only quote-unquote what they're calling lazy girl worker who is forced to adapt due to AI. Across the U.S., businesses are beginning to experiment with generative AI technologies like ChatGPT. 300 million full-time jobs across the globe could be disrupted, not necessarily replaced. And you will not be replaced by AI, but someone who knows what to do with AI may be looking for you to take over your job. And so there's lots of ways to adapt and get smart. You need to become the absolute unequivocal experts of AI in your office. You need to be the person that says, hey, look what I tried. Not necessarily during business hours, but you need to come to the table and say, hey, I found this tool. It does this. It can help us, and be that person. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom launches an in-depth investigation of Adobe's $20 billion Figma purchase. Boy, oh boy, they just can't win. Adobe is facing tighter scrutiny. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority has launched an in-depth investigation after Adobe declined to make concessions that would resolve the antitrust concerns. The Phase 2 probe will have a group of independent experts determine whether or not the merger will reduce competition to design software. Figma is the leading thing of the pack. what we use internally at my company. All design work is done in Figma. But Adobe rejected the CMA's claims when plans for new investigations were unveiled in June, and it was still confident it would complete the buyout. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this, but Adobe's facing definitely headwinds. The AP, Associated Press, strikes a news sharing and tech deal with OpenAI. As part of the deal, OpenAI will license some of AP Tech's archives dating back to 1985 to help train its AI Algo. The AP will get access to OpenAI technology and product expertise. The two firms are still working through the technical details. Brad Lightcap, OpenAI's chief operating officer, said AP's feedback, along with access to their high-quality factual text archive, will help to improve the capabilities and usefulness of OpenAI systems. So the AP was one of the first major national news organizations to use automation technology in its news reporting. It began automating corporate earnings reports, coverage of local sports. It has since expanded in other parts of news gathering and production process, including help our partner newsrooms adopt automation for coverage of local public safety incidents and translating weather alerts into Spanish. Earlier this year, AP launched an AI-enabled search tool and makes it easier for its clients, which are primarily other newsrooms, to access a vast trove of photos and videos using descriptive language rather than traditional metadata. But the company does not yet use generative AI in its news stories, which is interesting. We'll see how long that lasts and which segment of the workforce gets slaughtered. Hey, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you say hello. We would definitely want to hear from you tonight. If you want to go on the world's largest cruise ship that's 5 times larger than the Titanic, well, you're going to be able to. The new Royal Caribbean International has created a first-of-its-kind ship nearly 5 times the size that will soon make its debut. It's called the Icon of the Seas, measuring 1,198 feet long, 250,000 gross tonnage, capable of carrying 7,600 guests and 2,300 crew members. The ship is equipped with 20 total decks, 7 pools, and what Royal Caribbean describes as 6 record-breaking water slides. The ship will be ready for use starting in January. The cruise company says after hitting a milestone last month with successful completion of its initial round of sea trials. During those trials, the ship was put on open ocean for the first time. I don't want to be on. So you think about a U.S. aircraft carrier with 5,000 people. You want to be in a cruise ship with 7,600 people? Count me out. Count me out. The FCC aims to stop SIM swappers with new rules. The FCC has introduced these rules. It says will protect consumers against scams that aim to commandeer their cell phone accounts. Under proposed regulations, wireless providers would be required to adopt secure methods of authenticating a customer when they swap SIM cards to a new device or port their phone number over to another carrier. They'd also have to notify customers when a SIM change or port out request is initiated and do other things to protect customer from phone hijacking. SIM card swapping is a real problem that happens when a baddie convinces a cell carrier to transfer service to another device. And this happens a lot. It gives the attacker potential access to their victim's information, as they then would have able to access online accounts or secured with SMS, rather than other superior authentication methods. Similarly, port out fraud is an unauthorized transfer of your phone number to a different carrier, which happened to thousands of track phone customers earlier last year. Many carriers have steps in place to stop or at least hinder these kinds of fraud. In March, T-Mobile joined AT&T and Verizon offering PIN numbers to secure customers' wireless service accounts. Also, the FCC supports phones offering eSIM, which can offer additional protection against SIM swapping. So that's an option if you can stomach the potential headaches. So we'll see. Anybody heard of this? Any phone getting swapped anytime lately? Love to hear from you. geeknews@gmail.com. In a little bit of brilliance here, and I'm saying this cheek and tongue, increasing speed limits can lead to more crashes and death. AAA fines. Yeah. The faster you go, the more chance of a crash and the more chance of you dying. Why did they need to do a study? Google's Bard AI chatbot can talk and respond to visual prompts. That's interesting. In a blog post, Google's positioning Bard spoke responses as a helpful way to correct pronunciation. Well, I might need that help. Of a word or listen to a poem or script. You'll be able to hear spoken responses by entering a prompt and selecting the sound icon. Spoken response will be available in more than 40 languages are live now, according to Google. This feature will let you add images to prompts, is something that Google first showed off at I/O conference in May. In one example, Google suggested you could use this to ask for help writing a funny caption about a picture of two dogs. Google says the feature is now available in English and expanding to new languages soon. So, again, I haven't used Bard at all. Have any of you used Bard? NASA has decided to store a pair of probes it built but can't send to target asteroids. The Janus asteroid sats was supposed to be launched already. The software not got done, but now because it's been so long and they were supposed to launch last year and had been delays, they're gonna finish them up and wrap them up and put them in storage and look for another opportunity for the utilization of them. I guess it makes sense to have a couple of asteroid-capable satellites sitting on the shelf in case one heads this way. Who knows? I don't know what the full capabilities are, but they're going to shelve them and put them in storage. I'm going to tell you, when you leave electronics in storage for a long time, when you turn it back on, stuff doesn't work. It's just weird. Twitter says it has limited the reach of over 700,000 tweets that violate its policy, applying moderation labels to them. I don't see the time frame here, but there's no really way to verify this because of the price of the API integration now. Meanwhile, Elon has launched his own XAI biz to understand reality. So listen to this. He's founding his own AI company with some lofty ambitions. According to the billionaire, his XAI venture is being formed to understand reality. Those hoping to get a better explanation than Musk's brief tweet by visiting the XAI website, which I did, won't find much to help understand what the company actually plans to do. The goal of XAI is to understand the true nature of the universe. XAI said of itself. Adding more would be explained in a Twitter Spaces chat to be held tomorrow. But he did buy a whole bunch of NVIDIA GPUs, and I guess he put together a whole system and a whole bunch of employees. So we'll see what Elon cooks up this time. A robotic glove, this is amazing, enables a stroke survivor. Let me say that again. A robotic glove enables stroke survivors to rediscover piano playing. This new solution emerged in the form of a specialized robotic gauntlet designed exclusively for piano performances. This extraordinary device harnesses the power of AI to recreate tactile sensations necessary for pianists to engage with their instrument. As per an official announcement, the components are seamlessly integrated into a single hand exoskeleton, setting apart from conventional prosthetics. So it basically makes people be able to feel stuff that they can't feel anymore. So interesting move. It's very, very interesting. Link will be up in the show notes. You can review. Now, WhatsApp users will soon be able to hide their phone numbers. Ordinarily, its community chat environments, participant identities remain shrouded from one another, except for administrators who possess comprehensive access to all names. However, engaging with a message within a community announcement group can inadvertently expose your phone number, comprising your desired level of anonymity. So, WhatsApp, you have to have someone's number to communicate with them directly, but I guess these are just for the communities. So, interesting, as they say. All right, everybody, that's going to bring me to the end of the show here. We'll be back in the studio again for another show on Monday. I am going to Columbus. We're closing the Columbus office, and my goal is Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll get everything done, and I hope to be back here to do the show on Thursday. If everything goes right, I'll only be down there Tuesday, Wednesday, back here Thursday afternoon to do the show on Thursday, but I will be back with you again on Monday for another edition of the show, regular edition of the show. So geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com is the email address, @geeknews on Twitter. It's been my pleasure to bring you the show tonight. Sorry for the rough start. That's just kind of the way it happens sometimes when you can't talk. And if you've been watching the show live tonight, thank you so much, and I hope that you'll check in and say hi before we cut the stream. But it's been my pleasure. Everyone have a safe weekend out there, all right? Lots of cool things happening with me and in space and in the podcasting space. But other than that, everyone take care. We'll see you on Monday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.